Let's first get back to the slow-motion train wreck that is Kevin Rudd. This bloke has been rejected by his own party, he's been rejected by voters, and he's been rejected by Donald Trump. But he keeps coming back like a stray dog looking for scraps. I said at the time that it was a disastrous mistake for Anthony Albanese to appoint his good mate Kevin Rudd as Australia's ambassador to the US. It was always going to be a shocker politically, but more importantly, it was always going to hurt our national interest. This is a bloke who has said that Trump was nuts. He said that Trump was a threat to democracy. And earlier this year, I dug out some more choice and recent words from Kevin Rudd. In March 2022, Rudd told the Elliott School of International Affairs in Washington, D.C., how Beijing would have greeted the arrival of Donald Trump's presidency.
Who could believe our luck that this madman called Trump could have been elected?
Madman, hey? The point about this inane abuse from Rudd about Trump is that there's just so much of it around. Last night, Sharry Markson showed us this.
The United States in the last 4 years has been run by a village idiot.
A village idiot. And then we could add some more. Google is your friend.
With President Trump, depending on which day of the week, you were talking to President Trump and how his biorhythms were performing on that day and the nature of his diet, then who could guess during the craziness of the Trump administration on climate?
Trump has had an enormously destabilising effect on both the alliances with Japan and the Republic of Korea.
Destabilising, crazy, take your guess about what he's going to say or do. These can't be dismissed as silly, drunken tweets or ancient ramblings. These are considered and relatively recent comments to serious gatherings in official capacities, and they happened before Rudd was appointed ambassador. That's why it was always madness for Albo to appoint Rudd, because all this was out there. Why didn't Albo just Google Rudd in the US? It's basic due diligence. Have a look again at this clip I showed you in March, because not only does it show you that Rudd's political judgment is wrong, but he also calls Trump incoherent.
Well, if, for example, hypothetically, Trump was to recontest in 2024 and to win, and I, on the balance of probabilities, do not accept the argument that he will run in 2024.
Maybe that was wishful thinking by Rudd, because he didn't hold back in this academic forum.
Trump could not have cared less about human rights in China. If you asked Trump to take a position on the Uyghurs or on Tibet or any other aspect of Chinese human rights abuses, he would never have done so. And so for those reasons, the essential problem for allies in dealing with the Trump administration, Trump 1 or Trump 2, is its essential internal incoherence because of the essential incoherence of the man himself.
The incoherence of the man. That's our man in Washington. He's been banging on like this for years. It's little wonder that Trump later said this.
He won't be there long if that's the case. I don't know much about him. I heard he was a little bit nasty. I hear he's not the brightest bulb, but I don't know much about him. But if he's at all hostile, he will not be there long.
Now, the trouble for Rudd, the trouble for Australia, is that the American media is onto this. As I showed you yesterday, the New York Times has been reporting on Rudd's deleted tweets, ensuring that the Trump camp is reminded about the Australian ambassador, just in case they needed any reminding. Who knows, perhaps Fox News and others will pick up some of the historic clips we're showing you. The US relationship is too important to be left in the hands of a man who's shown such poor judgment and whose relationship with the new administration will be so compromised. But Rudd probably thinks he's got some protection because his own Prime Minister once said this.
We have an alliance with the US, we've got to deal with him, but that doesn't mean that you're uncritical about it. He scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I bet he does now, hey? Most in the Labor Party, of course, hate Donald Trump, and they've tried to impress each other over the years by just how stridently they can denounce him. Now they have to deal with him. This is serious. Albanese should act in the nation's interest and recall Rudd. And while this is a diplomatic challenge and a real dilemma for the government, I couldn't resist sharing something extra with you. I've managed to obtain exclusive footage of Kevin Rudd just after he was advised of Trump's victory.
There's language. He just complicates it so much, you know? How can anyone do this? Oh, mate, this is just impossible.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. It's pretty much impossible, and that wouldn't be too far from the truth, would it?